All right, so I am going to go through my accounts. I'm going to go through starting with my smallest account up to my largest account. I have three different accounts. I'm going to be starting a fourth soon. Um, and as far as what I'm going to discount, I have 12 stocks in it. So I'm going to go through each one, why I did it. Now, as I go through and explain this stuff, understand the rules. I'm making another video on my rules of investing. And as far as the stock market goes, and understand that these rules came from me learning and going through the process. So there's two types of people you can learn from. You can learn from people who are successful, and you can learn from people's mistakes. And I've made a lot of mistakes and lost a good amount of money learning some of the things that I'm going to share with you. So there's a saying, you should learn from your mistakes, and it's a bad saying. The saying should be, you should learn from other people's mistakes. Why should you get wrong what somebody else already figured out and paid for? So hopefully you get some good tidbits out of this, just kind of seeing my thought process. So this account is right now at $12,000. This is November 24th. It's about 11:30, as you can see. And you'll see I had invested into this account $5,300. So I'm up a pretty good amount. We're down today, but we're considerable overall. Pretty happy with this account. So this account, I think I started it. Let me just look and see when. I think Enphase probably wasn't the first thing I bought. So this was 7/21. So let's see if there's anything earlier than that. I probably bought Tesla right away. 3/23. That sounds about right. So this was March. I started this account right before everything got crazy with COVID. Actually, I had COVID during this. So this is probably, I was stuck in the house quarantined and I started investing in stocks. So yeah, that's what happened. I know I bought Enphase right away, but I sold it. So Enphase, so let me go through each one. I'll explain to you my thought process when I bought it. I'll explain to you my thought process now, why I still have it. So Enphase is a company that makes microinverters for solar panels. Solar panels basically make DC electricity. Your house uses AC electricity. You need an inverter to switch it from DC to AC. So there are two major companies that sell inverters. One is called SolarEdge, and the other one, you'll see here, SolarEdge. Let's see what they're trading at right now. Wow, damn it! Should have bought some of them. So let's look at their. Well, actually, I had their 1-year chart up here. So 52-week range, 62 up to 317 at one point. Wow. So back in March, they were at 81, 82, and now they're up at 200. I see they were up at 300 for a little bit. So the reason I bought Enphase and didn't buy SolarEdge, and I guess I should have bought SolarEdge, and I don't think looking at this, when I looked at it, SolarEdge and so SolarEdge has been around a lot longer. Enphase, to not get into too much detail, but Enphase is the up and coming, and they have very good products, and in some cases better the products than SolarEdge. So my thought process was, well, if SolarEdge is this, it was at the time when I was buying it, not here, but I was buying it even earlier at like $60, and I sold it, and then I rebought in. But if SolarEdge is up there and Enphase is here, I think Enphase is going to catch them. So I bought some Enphase, and I probably should buy some more. And I probably will buy some more as soon as this is done. Just now that I've seen what SolarEdge is, because I really think Enphase and SolarEdge are equal companies. So that's my reasoning there. Now, again, one of my rules is you should buy stocks in things you know and things that you, so like if I didn't work in solar, I wouldn't know anything about Enphase or Solar Edge or whatever. So one of the things you want to look into, and the reason I made money on this is because I know about these companies just from my job. So you should look into fields. If you're not in solar, maybe you shouldn't be investing in solar companies unless you're really into it and you know you're knowledgeable about it. So um, one of the things I've learned is to invest in things that I know about and trust my feelings about it, because I know more or I know at least more than the average person in these fields, and I know more um, about what's going on there. Might not know everything. You're never going to know everything. There's probably people who know a lot more than me, but at least I have some knowledge about that. All right. The FB, Facebook. We all know Facebook. I bought one share of Facebook to make me some money. Probably should have bought some more. Facebook is something I really need to buy more of, but I was just putting so much money into Tesla, and I just bought one share of it. When did I buy that share? Remember when I started this account, I didn't have a lot of money either to be spreading out. So I bought one share and made 60 bucks on it. So can't complain about the FB. I think Facebook is going to be around forever. Well, at least for a long time. You know, they own Instagram, they own WhatsApp. These are all apps that I use. That's why I would recommend. I thought to buy it, and I recommend anything. FUV is the Fun Utility Vehicle. Excuse my throat, my voice, by the way. Fun Utility Vehicle. You'll see I bought it at $3.06. It's up to 14. It was up to 18. It's been coming down a little bit. I don't care. I mean, I do care, but I did have an option this, which I'll talk about later, and I sold it when it got to like $16, even though I had the option for January. It was like a $5 option. I made like $1,000 on that. So I was very happy about that. This was one of the things that I bought because I watched YouTube videos. I watched Now You Know, and I watched Hyperchange, and these were YouTube channels that were talking very much about Tesla, and I liked the things that they said and their thought process. And then they did this. They both did pieces on FUV. Arcimoto is what the name of this company is, and I was impressed by it, and I liked everything, so I bought some. It was pretty cheap at the time, so what did I spend? $300, $330 on that, and you know I've made $1,200 on that buy. So people say, "Oh, you can't make money just watching YouTube videos." Well, I did. I didn't buy it because they said it. I bought because I liked the company. I liked the things they were doing. I liked their management. All the things I have in my rules, so I bought. Hyliion. Oh, so Hyliion is one of was one of my learning experiences. I will do another video on how much money I've lost on Hyliion. Hyliion is a company that I really do like the company. I think they're going to go up in the long run. This was a big time learning experience. So look at that chart. So Hyliion was a company that went through a reverse merger. If you don't know what a reverse merger is, it is a or a SPAC, special acquisition company. I think it's special purpose acquisition company. Anyway, basically what it is it's very hard for companies to get to get an IPO and to go onto the stock exchange. So what these SPACs do is they are basically holding companies. They have a lot of money. They are on they're basically just money companies. So they have a bunch of money. They look for companies that what they want to merge with. So then they can bring them onto the stock exchange without them having to go through all the process. So by merging, they don't have to go through all the process of having to get an IPO, or get the what's necessary to get onto the stock exchange, because they just merge with the company that's already on the stock exchange. So they don't have to go through all that paperwork and regulations and all that stuff. So it's a backdoor. That's why it's called a reverse merger. The holding company is in the stock exchange. They reverse merge with someone to bring them on, and then their Hyliion takes over. So One of the big companies that did this was Nikola, and their stock shot up. So you see, like right here, this was when the announcement, when they were announced. So you'll see for a long time they were trading at like $9-10. Hyliion, just so you know what they do, is they make drivetrains for trucks. People think they make trucks. They don't make trucks. They make the drivetrain for the truck. So they make an electric or a hydrogen fuel cell drivetrain. People keep seeing a Hyliion truck. They're not building trucks. So many people keep saying that. It even confuses me sometimes. But basically, what they do is they make the drivetrain. So companies that already have trucks, like Tesla, for example, is making a semi truck. Nikola is supposedly making a semi truck, right? So to sell for trucking. Hyliion is not making a truck. All they're doing is they're going to companies and saying, look, take your existing fleet. We can then swap out the diesel and put an electric drivetrain into the truck. And now you will have an electric truck and you don't have to go buy a whole new truck. So they're not building a truck. They're just doing the drivetrains. It's a great idea. It's a good transition. So they're not really competing, because if I'm a company and I just bought, I just spent, $500,000 on trucks, I'm not going to go out and buy a new, Tesla truck, if it's only a year or two old, my fleet. So these are excellent because it gets the emissions down, it's cheaper, they run better. So they're more powerful, they're better overall. So it's a great idea. So what happened is they announced they're going to reverse merge, right? So all of a sudden the stock price went up, and then it kind of came down. This is what normally happens. And then as we got closer and closer to the actual merger date, the price, you see, was all the way up to $40, $50. And so right around this $26 mark, was buying a bunch of options. I bought a bunch of options. I was like, oh my goodness, it's going. And then it kept going up and it kept going up. And this was even before the merger. And there was all this FOMO, fear of missing out, if you know what FOMO is. There's all this FOMO of people buying, because when the merger happens, because what happened with Nikola is it went from like, I'll pull it up later, but it went from $30 or $40 up to like $90 right after the merger happened. So everyone was like, Hyliion's even a better company, and it's gonna happen. And I had these things I was waiting and waiting and waiting, and then the merger happened, and as soon as the merger happened, it didn't spike up. It went straight down. So learning experience. And I mean, I had 4 or 5 options I was making when it was at $50. They were up to like almost $3,000 a piece, because I had the options. I bought them at 26. So the options were literally $2,000 or $3,000 a piece, and then they went all the way down basically to nothing, and I had to sell them for nothing. So I just lost my money on the option. So this is where my rule of leave some money on the table, sell during the hype, don't wait for the news. Because when the news came, it just dropped off. The hype, that's where you make your money. And you don't know when the hype's going to end, but sell before the hype ends. Sell during the hype. And if it had gone up and it shot up to $100, so what? If I would have made 12,000, but I didn't make 24,000 because I sold and made 12, I made 12. Okay, as opposed to I made nothing. So I lost money. Each option was like $300, $400 a piece. So ended up losing $2,000. So if you have a choice of losing $2,000, making 12 grand, or making 24 grand, obviously making 24 grand is the best, but I'd rather make 12 than to lose 2. Okay, anyway. I'm probably going to go through this in another video. I probably am taking way too much time here, but I don't know. Maybe this is interesting to somebody. Let's go back. So that's Hyliion. So Hyliion, by the way, is a great company, though. Overall, it was just the short term. So I still am keeping that Hyliion stock. Still keeping the Hyliion stock. I like Hyliion. In the long run, they're going to do well, and that's why I still have those shares, and I'll probably even buy more. They're coming back up now. They're up to $25. And Phase went up in the dollar since we've been talking. So did Facebook. Nice. Cool. Oh, so you see, I paid it. I'm losing money right now. I bought it at 28. But I think in long term, like these 10 shares, I'm not selling these. I think long term, Hyliion's going to do really well. So, all right, MFC. MFC is my only dividend stock here. This is a financial stock. The financial companies have been getting really beat down, but they do have a really good dividend. If you don't know what a dividend is, I probably have a different video on it, but basically dividends are passive income. So, so they're going to pay me again on the 21st. And what's their dividend amount is 5%. So it's 21 cents right now for each share. So what do I have? I don't know how many shares I have. I forgot. 10 shares, 16 shares. Let's find out. So they're paying 21 cents. Now I don't do a lot of dividend investing. I'm learning it now. My goal is to then 9 shares. So I get 21 cents per share. So so obviously that's not a lot, but I also think that the company is going to come back and do well. I think the financial markets took financial companies, that whole sector got hit pretty bad. So you see I bought around 14, it's up to 17, so that's nice. But really I'm going to start, what I want to do is start buying more of these dividend stocks and hopefully, you know, making a good income off of dividends. So if I get that position up to 200, 300, 400, 1,000 shares, you know, every 3 or 4 months, getting a nice check and living off of dividends, and then either reinvest in those dividends or putting them into or using that as income if I retire. So that's one of my first dividend stocks there. MP Materials. So MP is literally, I'm buying them for long term. Oh, they're doing pretty well. Oh, I didn't even know this. So MP Materials is basically a mining company that that's going to be looking for mines. I don't even know why I clicked on this. They're basically rare earth materials that are going to be needed for batteries. So I'm doing a lot of investing in EV stocks, right? So if I'm going to invest in EV stocks, we need to. They're going to need battery materials. You know, Elon Musk was on his earnings call, saying, "Hey, we need nickel. We need people to mine nickel." Elon Musk is even making his own mining company so he could mine lithium out of Nevada. So the point being is, if there's going to be a lot more shift to EV cars, then these rare earth materials are going to be needed, which means, you know, these mining companies are going to do well. So I bought some mining company. Nikola. Ugh. I hate Nikola. I really do. And they're killing me right now because they've gone up like nuts. You see, I have put options, which means I think they're going to go down. I am still excited about them going down. The fact that they're just been on a tear. Look at this, the last 5 days here. Ridiculous. Watch this. Come on. Give it to me. Look at this. So Nikola has been going up. All right. I watched some videos on Nikola. Here's the thing with Nikola. They are the biggest scam company. They have right now, currently, they have the Department of Justice investigating them for fraud. They have the SEC doing investigations for fraud. They have 5 class action lawsuits against them right now because they are a fraudulent company. And the reason they're going up is simply because GM, there are so many people that are locked into this company, big companies, and these big companies also spend money for the news media to write nice, good things about it. Like, could you imagine? So this company, literally their prototype truck didn't run. And then they took one of their trucks, and I don't don't even know. I bet you the video's gone now. The prototype didn't work, and so what they did is here, right? It's Nikola. See this? See this truck rolling? So you see downhill verified, right? So they took this truck that didn't run. They brought it up to the top of a hill and rolled it down the hill and took video, making it look like that the truck worked. It didn't work. The powertrain doesn't work. They said that they had batteries that are better than Teslas that would give all this range. They were going to use hydrogen power for their they were going to build all this infrastructure for hydrogen. They're going to have a hydrogen truck, which is better than electric. All this nonsense they just said and they just spoke. Look at the where I talked about the SPAC. So here they were. Here was the announcement that they were going to reverse merge, and then they reverse merged. So this was what 6.3, 6. So 6.3. It's at it's June 3rd, $33. 6.4, $33. 6.5, $35. 6.8, $73. Doubled in one day. So that was the day they merged. And then as you can see, all the way down, it was like 19 bucks. And now it's coming back up. The reason it's coming back up is because they need to raise capital. So what happened is during their they're almost out of money. They're supposed to be making a new factory. I don't want to go through all this right now. I'm not going to go. So, but the point being is, the big thing is December 1st. They had a bunch of companies that are involved, a bunch of investors that are involved that were locked in. They had their shares locked in. The head of the company, CEO Trevor Milton, who's the scam person, founder of the company, he has 1.6 million shares. He's also got there's about I think I'm trying to think, maybe 5 million shares that are not locked up. And it's Trevor Milton, it's the guy who's the head of the company right now, and it's Trevor Milton's dad. We're all going to sell on they can't sell their shares until December 1st. So I don't know how they did it, but they've convinced all the other investors to lock their shares up until April 1st. So Trevor's shares aren't locked in. Mark, the president, the current CEO, because Trevor got kicked out because of all this fraud, and is probably going to go to jail. Hopefully, he goes to jail. And these people, they just keep, because it's just a hype machine. They have really great pictures and great videos, but they don't have any products. But then GM somehow is involved with them, and people think that this company is going to make it, and they're running out of money. If any of these things happen to, like, let's say Tesla, like if they did any of this stuff, they would get cremated. But this company somehow is worth more than some of my other companies that have legit products. And Hyliion is at 25, and this is at 35 right now. Hyliion is a real company with real products and actually doing things. This company is all hype and smoke and mirrors and fraud. And because they're in bed with a bunch of big companies, Iveco and GM and whatnot, and they're going to have to raise capital, they're manipulating the market to make this stock go up. But I know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen? On December 1st, Trevor Scumbag Milton and the rest of his, allegedly, by the way, this is all my opinion. I gotta say allegedly, in my opinion. Do your own research. So, as Tom Nash would say. But they're going to pull out, and they're going to take their payout. They're going to sell their $5, $6, $7 million in shares, and they're going to take their payout, and the stock's going to drop. And then Nikola's also going to have to raise money, and the stock's going to drop. So that's why you see I have a put option for Nikola for April, because April 16th, because all these other companies, all these other investors, they're locked in till April 1st. So I know April 1st, it's going to drop. And then I have a put option for December 11th, because I know Trevor Milton is going to steal a bunch of money out of this company. But and I've shorted the stock, as you see, I have negative shares, negative 30 shares here. I'll explain shorting later. I don't want, this video is already too long. Let me move on from Nikola because it gave me agita. Novonix. Novonix is another one that I learned from. It's an Australian company. They are making batteries. There was a chance that they were gonna, there was a chance. People thought Novonix was going to merge, was going to be bought by Tesla, or was going to be working with Tesla. So when Tesla had their battery day, so I bought this company. I bought it at like what, 70 cents. It's up to 83. But look at this. So you see it's just floating around. By the way, I love Novonix. They have a great board. They have great leadership. They're knowledgeable. They have a government, a guy who's very high up in the military, and is going to help them get military contracts. So as more and more EV stuff happens, they're going to need batteries. Batteries are something that's coming down the road. That military, and all other companies that go EV that aren't Tesla. Tesla's going to make their own batteries, but there's going to be other companies that need batteries. So Novonix is a battery manufacturer in Australia. I know they're going to do good. So you see what happened though? Like, I remember waking up this day. It was like right before it was the day of battery day, or the day before, and it went from, it was going up, it was going up, it was going up, and then boom, it went up to like $3, and I should have sold. And then battery day happened. I should have sold some of it. Battery day happened, and Elon Musk didn't say Novonix, and the next day back down to 70 cents. So again, sell the hype. Don't sell the news. Don't wait for the news app, and take your profits before. Because again, if Elon Musk would have said, "Oh, we're buying Novonix," this would have went through the roof. And I was being greedy, and it's like, "Oh, come on, say it, say Novonix," and no, and it didn't. So now, I still believe in the company long term, but that's the story there. So again, I'm telling you these stories just so you can know what's going on in my account, but you also could see where the rules that I've come up with come from. Why I say the things that I'm saying to help you make some money in the market. Planet 13. Planet 13 I learned about from Jeremy in Financial Education. I highly recommend watching his videos. And you'll see I bought 20 shares at $1.70. I bought 20 shares at $3.61. It's up to $4 today. Look at that. Nice. Planet 13 is a, I want to say they sell Indo, let's say Indo. So they sell Miss J. All right. So again, I'm going to put this on YouTube. I don't want to, hopefully you understand. So that's what they do. They have a huge facility in Vegas. They have a dispensary where it's legal to sell it. And here, I'll show it to you real quick. Planet 13. No, that's 14. All right. So they do curbside pickup. Imagine that. All right. So right now you can't legally ship this outside of the state that you're in. I want to show some pictures of the place. The place is amazing. It's just pictures. Jeez. You would think that would be the number one thing they would have on their website, pictures. But the good thing about them is that they have branding. So they have like Coca-Cola and whatnot. Like they have really good brands, and they're getting brand awareness. And people, when they go to Vegas and they go visit this place, and It's just amazing. People go, they hang out, just look at images. So look at this. It's a really sweet store, and they're making more dispensaries. They're going to be adding more stores, and they're going to be selling um, edibles and different products that are branded, and people really like the brand. I by the way, know zero about partaking in this particular product, but I don't have to partake to understand a good thing when I see it. So they are going to. That's one of my long-term deals. As the laws and regulations go away, they are in the proper space with the proper distribution and branding and products ready to go. So that's a long-term buy for me. Long-term hold. Square. I'm almost finished here. Sorry, taking a long time. Square is amazing. Okay, you see, God, I wish I had more money at the time. One of the reasons you need to have like cash. I wish I had bought more Square. So you see, it's at 66. Now it's up to $200, and I would give this a huge buy. The good thing about Square is not only first great management. Okay, the guy who runs Twitter, yeah, who also runs Square. The thing I love about Square is Cash App. All right, Cash App is huge, and Square's doing great stuff even without Cash App. But when you throw in Cash App, the fact that that's where I buy my fractional shares, I have my debit card. I have my card for. You see that? There it is. There's my Square card. All right. I can use this as a debit card and use it right at like just like any other debit card. It's like a bank account. I have money that's direct deposited in Square, and so I can literally take my paycheck. It can go straight. Part of it goes right to direct deposited right into that account. It's just like a bank account, but it never comes out of Square. Like I can buy online. I can do everything, and they don't have all the fees. I can then take my money and invest it. Like, so I don't have to take it from my bank and put it into my investment account. Like I can just invest while I'm in Square, while I'm in Cash App. So they're really doing amazing stuff. This is the future of money. So there you go. That's why I bought Square. Wish I bought more. I probably will buy more. Even at 200, it's still, they have so much room of growth. Tesla, Tesla, my love. So again, wish I had more money. I would have bought more. It's up to 541 today. Tesla, I really believe it's going to go over 2,000 again. Let's see, 7,000 after the split. Yeah, so it's 2,000 would be 10,000 would be 5,000. So 1,500 is about my price target on that by 20. For the next, Tesla is, they're not even where they need to be yet. They're still building the Austin factory. They're building the Berlin factory. So when those two factories are done, it's game over. Okay, like right now they can't even keep up. They sell every single car they make, put it that way. Right, when you drive by a car dealership, look at how many cars are sitting there. All right, that does not exist with Tesla. Every single car they make, they sell, since the beginning of their inception till today. So what happens when they can make more cars? They'll sell them, right? And they right now, they used to have to ship their cars to Europe from California. Now they're doing it from Shanghai. At least it's across land, so it's easier. Once they have the Berlin factory up, that's even better. The Austin factory is going to be making the Cybertruck and the semi-truck. So they have a semi-truck coming out still. They already have 1,000 orders for a semi-truck at $200,000 a piece. Cybertruck has 700,000 pre-orders for that. Okay, so they're going to be making that. Model Y just started ramping up, and I've already talked to people. I was on someone today who bought their Model Y. I was talking about how much they love it, and that's just all. Then on top of that, Tesla insurance, the Roadster coming out. self-driving robocars. Like they have so much stuff coming, and this is just the tip of the iceberg of what they have. So um, yeah, if I should sell everything and just buy Tesla stock. That's what I did for 3 years, and I should have stayed with that path. But point being is, yes, buy Tesla, buy fractionals. If you can't afford $540, buy fractionals. That's what I do. So I only see 7 shares here. The reason there's 7 shares is because I had 1 share, and then it split to 5, and then I bought 2 more. Anyway, last one, Workhorse. So Workhorse, another, just like Hyliion, same exact thing happened with Workhorse. So, but the thing with, well, not exactly the same. Workhorse was not a SPAC. What happens is Workhorse, the big catalyst for Workhorse is the USPS contract. So to put this in perspective, Kodak, if you remember Kodak cameras, right? So Kodak got a $600 million, I should bring this up. Kodak got a $600 million grant from the government to make vaccines for COVID. What Kodak camera has to do with vaccines, I don't know. There was a whole big thing, but Kodak was like trading at like $2 because nobody even uses Kodak cameras anymore. And it went from $2 to $13 when they got that grant. They got that money from the government, 600 million bucks, right? Spiked up 5 times, 6x, right? Workhorse is going to get, so that's 600 million. Workhorse is in the bidding for a contract from the USPS, from the United States Postal Service, for, some people say 6, some people say 8, but 6 to 8, some people say 20, but I don't know about 20. 6 to 8 billion dollars, okay? Not 600 million, 6 to 8 billion, because the USPS needs new trucks, right? They are in a war, they're one of 3 finalists to get this contract. There's Workhorse, which is the only electric company, and one of the 2 American companies. There's Oshkosh or Ford, which does not make an electric truck, but they have much better facilities in order to make more trucks. That's their advantage, faster. And then another company from Turkey. So most likely Workhorse will get a part. I don't think they'll get all, because they just don't have the production, the capabilities to make enough trucks for the USPS. However, even if they get a third of the contract, even if they get 25% of the, even if they get 10% of the contract, this stock is going to fly up. All right. So you'll see what happened. I knew about this, right? And the FOMO happened, right? Because they were supposed to, there was a story about them. People thought, they don't know when this contract is going to get announced. People thought it might be announced in September because that's when the fiscal year ends for the government. So you see what happened. It was going up as, so this is what, August, September, it's at 19, it's at 22, as September went on, 28, because people are like, oh, this contract's going to get announced. 28, so up to $28, $25, and then as soon as September ended, started going down. So, and now it went all the way down to 19 bucks. But as you see, now it's come back up. The reason why is because the USPS has said, we are going to announce this contract before the end of the year. Now, that's what they've said. They don't have to. They can change their mind. We don't know if Workhorse will get a part of the contract. I firmly believe that we'll get a piece of it, but I don't know how much, and I don't know, and it's not guaranteed. So what happened before? I thought it was going to be announced. I had options. I was waiting. It's going to get announced. It's going to get announced September, and then it didn't get announced, and I lost all my money on my options. So this time around, we learned from our mistakes, right? So now it's coming up again. It's up to 27. You see, now they said it's going to be announced in December. It's November something or other, so I haven't sold yet. Oops, hit the wrong button, damn it. I haven't sold it yet, but I completely, you'll see in a second here. Let me get back into my account. Oh, we're having a bad day, down 700 bucks. I know the video's long. Sorry. Might chop this up. So anyway, so you see and you're going to see this in my other accounts as well. I have a call for $19 on the 18th. I have a call for $21 on the 24th. Now I did have 2 more calls. I've sold them. As soon as it hit 30 for a half a second. I sold it. I had some shares. I sold them. I just hit 30 because that was the highest it's been. And you'll see I've made 1,200 here, 500 there, 500 there. It was up to, when I was up to 30, this was like 800 and 800 and like 1,500. So I am going to keep these 46 shares long term, even though I think right after the UPS contract is announced, I'm just assuming it's going to go down. All right, like but I like Workhorse for the long run, so I'm buying contracts for the long run. But in the short run, I got these, and probably around the second, if this gets up to 35 bucks, they're done. I'm selling them. I'm selling them before they announce the agreement. I'm not waiting for the agreement. I'm going to sell the hype and the FOMO and not sell the news, because if the news comes and it's not good, even if the news is good, even if it says, oh, Workhorse got 25% of the contract or 10% of the contract, once the news is done, might people get excited and buy? Maybe, but I don't know that. All right, I can't gauge what people are going to do, because a lot of people don't know what they're doing. So I've learned my lesson. So I'm going to sell this while people are like, oh, the contract's coming. Oh, it's going to get closer. As it gets closer and closer, more people are going to buy, because they're going to think, like I used to think, that it's going to spike as soon as the contract's announced, and I'm going to sell and take my profits before then. All right. So that's how it's going to work. And if I lose, and if the contract comes through, and they get 50%, if they get 100% of the contract, and the stock shoots up to $60, oh well, oh well. Sorry, I'll feel bad that I made $3,000 instead of $8,000. I'll take my $3,000 gain. All right. So that is that's my one account. Oh God, this went way longer than I thought it would. But hopefully you learned some things. You'll see why, if you watch my rules of investing videos, why I say the things I have. There are stocks that I've sold in here, NAT stocks, some other things. I'll do a video on that too, on my transactions over the years, and what the years over the last couple months, and show you what I've learned, and we'll go from there. And hopefully you make some money and this taught you something. All right. Talk to you soon.